Yo, 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 what's happening? What's going on, everybody? Andy's Crypto Talk. And just before we start, none of this is financial advice. And if you want to support the channel, let me turn that volume down a little bit. If you want to support the channel, please check out the links in the description. New partnership up with MEXC, and I will be giving away some money probably some point during this week. Probably be like a $50 giveaway, so you will have to be subscribed to the channel, and then we will also look at you getting subscribed to MEXC. So check out the link in the description for that. Let me just share this out and then we'll get started. Okay. Share it on there. Let's get it shared on X. And yeah, a couple things I want to check out with you guys today. One thing I wanted to say is, I'm sorry that I haven't been here for a couple days. Either way, we'll definitely check out some things. Moby, one thing, yeah, definitely might be worth checking out. Moby AI. This thing is pumping. It went today, it launched and it went straight to 56 mil and then made another top at 62. I think this can continue running pretty fast, so might be worth keeping an eye on for a dip entry. But yeah, so we shared it on, okay, we're shared on there, we're good to go. So yeah, markets have been taking a bit of a plunge, since we were talking last. We did line this up. I think they were already dumping when we were talking last, so they were already in this corrective sort of structure, and I was saying maybe this is kind of the W we were talking about, from up here down to here. And then it's tagged this lower trend line, but then recovered V-shaped recovery up here. Seeing if, can we beat this resistance at about 96K. I think once we beat that resistance at 96K, we just see, can we crack back through 100? And it's, we're really close. We're getting close to this is the inauguration, so getting Trump into office. I think that's a really bullish event, right? So yeah, I think at this point we're kind of free and clear. So I just wanted to shoot a message over to the Citadail community. Sometimes they want to hop on the live stream. So yeah, I think it's kind of where we were waiting for a confirmation on up only mode, and this probably is going to be a confirmation once we get above 96K. I think it's easily going to confirm that. So we're getting pretty close to that right now. That's why I wanted to hop on and give you guys the alpha. You can see here, though, clearly there's a lot of volume up in this area that it has to kind of pierce through. So that's why I'm saying, once we get over kind of the halfway point of this, I think it just gets easier and then it just continues on up. This is all the price action we have right now. So really, the point of control is right around 96K. So I just think once we get past that, things can get looking really bullish. Yeah, USDT.D. It made one more spike up against this yellow line that I had drawn out. But now it's looking to sort of dump and correct back down. So as long as we don't see this kind of play out into this sort of inverted head and shoulders, I think we should be off to the races with the entire crypto market. So taking a look at total 3, you know, same sort of look as BTC. It's spiked down into these lows, you know, that we created here back in December. This spike down, and you know, it ate that liquidity up, and now making its way back up. This would look a lot better up above this 3.26 trillion. So it's not too far, only a few billion up. I don't really want to look at ETH because it's painful to look at. But I'd rather look at SOL ETH and see how it's actually looking like it's about to take off. And SOL BTC kind of did this double bottom sort of area of this box range that we drew out. And I think it plays up to the upside from here. Sort of same look on here, double bottom. But it could create that W we always talk about, lower on the left and the right. Do you see any more consolidations to 50 MMC? Are we crushing it? You're talking about Citadail? I'll jump onto the Citadail chart right away here. Just want to quickly cover these majors. So SOL, this is kind of what we're looking at on SOL. We did create a newer low, so we got to redraw that up there. So this is making a pretty steep recovery from its tagging, so 170, 169, wow. So it went lower than all this liquidity. It looks like it, yeah, there's this what's called a fair value gap. At least that's what Trader Main calls it. So because price didn't really trade within this range, it sort of came back to revisit it. So it revisited, it filled that whole gap. Should be up only mode from here. Things will look a lot better above 190. And then, of course, above sort of 210, that's when we're really going to start ripping. And the biggest rip, I think, once we overcome this sort of area, that's when we're going to really push into new all-time highs. I know we did make new all-time highs here, but yeah, I think SOL looks really nice at this point. SOL looks really nice at this point. If we draw from the low here, you know, we're still safely within this trend. Right? So like, it could potentially even go lower to tag this, but I don't think so, just because again, it's grabbed this gap and it's going to go up from there. One of the really bullish looking charts is actually XRP, because you can see this trend line has actually been broken. And so I know a lot of people are trading this one, but you got to be careful, because like, that's crazy. 5% up, 5% down on 4-hour candles. This thing can get wild, so just be careful if you're trading something like that. Anyways, let's get on to, let's look at Citadail, because that's what we're really here for, right? So the first thing I wanted to mention with Citadail is, you know, aside from seeing, you know, this sort of parabola here that did break, sorry, everything got really clustery there as soon as I turned that on. So as soon as we saw this kind of parabola that went up only, it felt like, to the sort of 52, 53 mil market cap, you know, we've had a violent correction to the downside. You could talk about it like this is a fair value gap that it never retested, right? So we could be just doing that exact same thing SOL is doing, retesting that fair value gap and this previous sort of all-time high cluster. You know, first high this sort of candle close all-time high cluster, and we just retested that. One thing you'll see here, oops, that I wanted to sort of note is this candle right here and this candle right here. And this is known in trading as what's called a hammer and a hanging man. So you could see quite clearly there that this top one here, that looked like a hanging man, and this one right here looks like a hammer. We can kind of make it a little bigger just so you can see, right? So that's also like a gravestone doji. That's something else that they call that one. So dojis, which are these candles like this, they tend to mark points where it's going to turn around or go in the other direction. We can see here, you know, this is a doji, it went in the other direction. We did have here what's called an inverted hammer, which can also be bullish. And then up here we had a doji, which again, it's signified we might be going the other direction. It's just like back here, you know, even back here, here's a doji right in the middle, signifies going the other direction. So, I mean, they don't always play out, because this one, you know, technically it should have been going the other way, but things were so bullish, it ignored that one. So this is a different, again, it's a different type of doji, especially when it has such a high close like this. When there's not much upside at all, that means it was a very bullish close on this candle. And it makes this bullish hammer pattern even more significant. So I think at this point, you know, we can say sufficiently that the bottom is marked, and I would look for a close above 25 mil to say this is going to send like crazy. If this daily, the one we're in right now, closes above 25 mil, I think it's like 25.07 or something, it's going to be what's called a bullish engulfing candle. And that's going to really set things off, right? That's a swing failure pattern is what Maine calls it. So when this is a swing, the swing is the downswing or the upswing, and then you get a failure pattern when this second candle after the bottom one closes above this previous candle. And something else just to take a look at. So we'll put some drawings back on here. I know it gets a little bit noisy. We'll see on the 4-hour chart, this is one a lot of people watch, and you can see on the 4-hour chart that right here we hit the 886 on the fib, and we didn't close underneath it and just sent up. So that again also signifies like a clean bottom. It dipped below it, but it didn't close below it. So that's bullish. Super bullish. Also, one more thing that I like to look at is, you know, we had this long channel. Same sort of thing that we would have had previously at this point here. You know, we had this channel. Sort of, it's tougher to draw on the previous time frames because, again, it was a fairly new coin at this point, so there's not a lot of touch points. But yeah, you can see the channel it was drawing down. That's when it finally, let's get rid of this 886. That's when it finally hit a bottom here. It did hit a bottom on a different structure of the fibs because this was kind of a different point in this, but it bottomed out at the 618 retracement. So it did about a 60% retracement, whereas this time we did an 886, which is like 80% plus, which is actually really bullish, even though people might say, oh, well, it's done, it's dead. So 78% actually. So we didn't even hit 80% correction, which is 80% correction is common with any sort of tokens. Just because of the nature of the volatility. But this is a huge correction that can basically signify, yes, this is corrected enough, so to speak. Now that we have this channel that we're looking at here, that it had this downtrend channel, and we broke out of it, right? So that looks really good. I like to even pop on a bit lower time frame just so we can see that, you know, it clearly broke out. Now it did a retest and it's off. So at this point, it could continue sort of wiggling down this a little bit. That's not unheard of, that it can do that. But you look for kind of a rounded bottom like this, and for it to break this structure. Okay, so that's kind of what I would look for the next move up. That's kind of how you can signify the next move up. Again, these are meme coins. Doing TA on this is like astrology for men, as they say. So, you know, I see, Andrew, you're trying to learn. You're going to always be learning, put it that way, because at the end of the day, like, none of this stuff has to work, especially if one whale decides to just hop in the market and make a big dump, right? Like, I think a lot of this move down from 23 down to about 12. So this 50% move down that happened sort of overnight, last night, I think was just one or two people. So there's a reason why this stuff works, and then there's a reason why it all just gets canceled out and doesn't matter anyways. I want to get rid of that. And we can actually see, because like we can pull that over and we can see, like, these were previous order blocks that we looked at. And what one was this one from? That's from there. I'm not sure where we pulled this order block from. It could be right here. But it got really close to that order block, right? And we can see same thing with here. It came through this order block, but it came and retested it. And that order block's right back from here. So these sort of price areas that get tested, they have to do with previous price. Like we can see one here as well. Right, so I think this is a significant one that we need to break out of. As we can see, we kind of tested the highs and then we failed back into the range. But I think at this point, there's enough bullishness overall in the entire crypto markets that we go up. You know, like you can look at Griffain, which we're part of the Griffain ecosystem. This one's also broken out. It's also got this big order block that I was looking at. You know, once we overcome that 400 mil mark, things like Griffain are going to really pump to the moon. This thing, I think, will easily go to 1 billion sooner than later. Just like Citadail HF token. You know, this is kind of the top that we want to see break. But then it had this very sharp breakdown. What's the lowest low? That's the lowest low. So it's tough though. This one's still fairly new, so you might have to go to a little bit lower time frame on something like this one, just to get a little bit more of the pattern. So yeah, we can see that this one's actually really it's making its attempt at correcting. And that'll be its sort of higher trend. So I think once it sort of makes this nice, it's actually making a nice rounded bottom. And then it's just gonna just rocket up, which looks like it could happen soon, right? Sooner than later, especially with everything turning up in the crypto markets. So yeah, one more thing I wanted to show you guys on this chart. So we got to this target that we're in, this sort of box range that we're in, by doing the fibs. Let's So we did the trend-based fib extension from this low to this high, back to this low. And that's where we kind of got this, 22 to 47 mil range. That was my thesis behind this range, was this fib extension, that we would end up around 32 and potentially push up into the 50s, which we actually overextended, right? So we made our way to the 3618, which we got about halfway through that range between the 2.618 and the 3.618. So it was a really bullish push. Now we just extend this over to here. Now I did redraw it and I created the box range that we have above, which I'm going to change now, because I did it up here where I thought the bottom was, but I didn't know if the bottom was there. So I said we might have to redraw this later. And now we can see, so this was my box range between 75 and 150. Core people TP out. Look at the top wallets. They distributed more or a lot. Core people TP out. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. I think you're saying that like some of the top wallets distributed, which, I mean, that's always a good thing, right? I know there's a website for this. Let me pull it up. Holder scan. So I like using holder scan. And we had some in there before. Let's check out Citadail. Come on. What's going on? Oh. Oh damn, holy, I can't spell. Citadail, there we go. Let's get the HF. And I like having Griffain in here. So it's actually gone down a little bit. But if you look at it on the daily, it's basically sat flat. Peaked up and down. I think the all-time high was like 11,900 or something. Right there, 11,877. So it's kind of trending down a little bit, but not too bad. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people definitely took profit. Yeah, I'll agree with that. A lot of people took profit, and good on them, because yeah, like it's, they have a reason. This was a parabolic run, right? If some people bought in down here kind of on these lows, this last sort of low before it really started running, 1.8 mil. And if we measure that, $1.8 mil, that's a 2,600% return. That's huge, right? That's like a 27x for people that got in on the lows, right? And there were people that got in the beginning and held through all this, and they wanted to take some rewards out of that. That's fine. That's totally fine. The one thing I would say is, like, they really pushed this chart down, right? They were really testing us holders at least. Because yeah, like I didn't even anticipate that it would retrace this. I thought we were gonna stay up in this range, up in this box that I drew out here. I thought that was it. Like I thought that was kind of the move. We were gonna stay up in that box, and it was just gonna keep going up from there. I was wrong, Good way to shake the bed. Yeah, exactly. Like this happens often, and we see that like even on Griffain, right? Like this is a recent AI coin, and we've seen multiple big dips on this thing. This was its first parabolic run up to like 34, and it brought it back down to 3 mil. So like some people were sweating. Mind you, AI wasn't as, I guess it was pretty prevalent, but it was still in a sort of what I would consider like beginning stages. December is what really ramped it up. as we can see inside of this chart. You know, December really brought a lot of AI into these big parabolic moves. But I bet you people were sweating even here, right? You know, went up to 100 mil, it dipped back down to 50 mil, right? So like, you just have to expect and accept the volatility sometimes. You know, it had down only basically from 400 down to 150, right? Like some people were probably sweating in this 61% retracement, but they just happen. It's part of the volatility of crypto. This recent move down on there is 47%, right? Like these things happen. But look at it now. Like, look at that pump. That's beautiful. This is a huge hourly candle, and this is probably going to send it back up over to the 400 mils. It's just like we're looking here on Citadail. And so sometimes we just have to reassess the situation. So we're reassessing now. This 58. We're going to move this guy. It's the same size basically. It's just moved down a little bit. So 60 to 90 mil sort of zone. I would say that's our first target range. But as we saw with the last time, this could potentially go much farther, right? So, and I'm gonna draw it out over here because we're already over here. So yeah, 90 to sort of 130 is the next box range. And I'll leave those kind of as those are the box ranges that I would say that's our next target. I can say it way more confidently than last stream. I know last time I talked about this, I was saying that I'm not as confident. We might have to redraw it. And now I'm like, you know, I don't think we're going to have to redraw this. I'm going to move this one up to the all-time highs just so we have some things to play with. I know all these lower levels, we can probably start to get rid of some of them just to kind of clean up this chart. Even though it's nice to know where we came from, I just want to sort of clean this up for everybody. So we'll just clean all that up. Get all these lines out of there. Make it look nice again. We've got our new box ranges. We can probably even get rid of this one. And see, we had this 13.85 for a long time. We actually had that there. So really interesting. It's kind of where it tested, bounced. So yeah, again, you know, this sort of range, I want to leave this in here because I think this is important to break through and get past. This we could leave there just again because we want to get on top of this. Let's get the drawer and show you guys kind of what I mean. So get on top of this. Might see some corrective action there. Break up above here. And then up above all-time high. True floor? What do you mean, like... The true floor, I would say, is where we're at right now, essentially. Because how it works is like the floor essentially gets created by, yeah, we bottomed out. I mean, do you need more of a bottom than that? I think this is a V. What is going to happen is it's going to be like a V-shaped recovery, right? So like we seen here, it's going to be like a V-shaped recovery. Like, I doubt that we do something quite like this, just because right now we're within a few days of inauguration and things really push down like hard, right? So we've seen that in even certain bigger tokens like BTC. If we look at BTC and we just look at this like on the hourly, right? So from up here at 100, it pushed down severely down to 91. It corrected sideways, and then it slapped us down 89K, right? Now, I think there's been some significant selling ever since the all-time high of 108K. And we can see that with stuff like this, these BARTs, right? trying to buy back up, but it just gets rejected. Trying to buy back up, but it just gets rejected, right? Now it's finally forming this type of V recovery. That's usually when it just continues going and just grinding higher. So I think the bottom is in my books. I wasn't 100% before, but I'm like, I would say, you know, a high probability that the bottom is in. A very high probability the bottom is in at this point. That looks even better as kind of like a box to box this in. Yeah, so hit those bottoms there. That's from the top to the bottom. So it's the down move before the up move that broke market structure. Still deleting some of these little lines here and there. So this is the down move before the up move that broke market structure. It came and it retested that. It did deviate, so a lot of people would call this kind of like a deviation. And then it made its way back into the range. Once we get over this and, like, you know, again, it might retest this. This is where once it breaks out of this range, like this little tiny range right here up above, which probably won't take that long, but yeah, once it breaks up above this, that's when we know this was the bottom. And once it breaks up there, then it's going to be significantly more impactful price-wise moving up. I think, you know, the team's got things on lock. That's the one thing I would say as well. You know, here's the Citadail community. Let's just pop in here real quick. And we can see here, you know, Degen's always working. Miami tomorrow, might stop by Citadail HQ, might make it Citadail's. I think he meant it. And, you know, that's another thing. Look at Degen's got a gold check mark. Okay. And he's got a little Citadail logo. Okay. And what is this? Citadail's got a gold check mark. And what is this? This is just yesterday. Let's play this for you guys. Citadail presents OTC. So they're creating an exchange for crypto OTC securely with low fees, peer-to-peer. It's kind of like a DeFi escrow. So this is kind of a start like we need to see for Def AI, right? Yeah, it's looking promising. It's looking promising. I love to see stuff like this. Again, we saw Cordell. Cordell's investing. Where's Cordell's wallet? Here's Cordell's wallet. Looks like Cordell picked up some more. What is that? 10,000 Cordell. Oh, selling 10,000 Cordell. Someone else made more Cordell. Bought AI, Natural AI, Goat AGI, and AGI. So bought a little bit of bags of those. Probably sent them to the hedge fund. Goat AGI is not doing good. I wonder if the other one's just rugged. Or maybe they sold? I don't know what happened there. Either way, it looks like they're, you know, still holding some of these bags. Buzz, Pangu, Ray. I think once we see them snipe something like this Moby, you know, they have a chance of sniping stuff. They'll be sniping some stuff. And that's when we'll see some crazy increases on this net asset value. That's when a lot more people are going to really move in. HF, yeah, I mean, I think this is as well. This is creating this nice rounded bottom. you know, this box range needs to, this sort of lower range needs to just make its way out of here. And then we'll see this one do numbers as well. So yeah, guys, I mean, you got to keep an eye on Dex Screener. Things are getting crazy at this point. Hey and Non, this is another one that just launched. Like 29, it launched like 2 weeks ago. It's already at like 250 mil. That's pretty crazy. I heard something about Concho. Not sure what it is, but again, you know, this launched 2 days ago. It already hit 37 mil. So like these things are going crazy. Pippin, I heard, was going crazy. Yeah, Pippin went pretty crazy. This one actually people were holding for a long time. And then 4th of January it just started to rocket, made to about 60 mil, retraced to 30, and then ran up to 330 mil. That's insane. This is like some crazy volatility too, right? Like, imagine being part of this, where it's 60% dumps in like a day, and then pumps back up. Crazy stuff happening. You know, definitely worth keeping your eye on the Dex Screener. It can be tough though. It can be tough to really like Butthole coin. This is crazy. Things are getting crazy. Butthole went to 130 mil. Right? Big retrace. You know, like I think this could potentially be on another leg here soon too. Yeah, that's the low right there. So like, it's already attempting to rotate here. I think I would look at this. Yeah, I'll probably look at that to break. And then it'll be off to the races. So yeah, some more things. Let's see, what else do they have? What else has been new? Oh yeah, we reported some. Yeah, that's it. I think I've covered kind of everything else with you guys. Yeah, covered everything else with you guys. So yeah, I think the moves that we've been kind of anticipating, they're about to come. 20th of January, I know there were some things on the timeline I seen about as soon as Trump gets in, he's basically going buck ham all in crypto. So yeah, I mean, nobody really knows. And you know, worst case scenario, we do potentially go down more. That's always there. So again, I always say this, not financial advice. Do your own research. Do your due diligence. Yeah, I think that's all for this one. Check out the links in the description if you want to get involved and support the channel. I do appreciate, you know, I threw out a shout out, 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate all you guys that have subscribed and that watch. You know, I think we got like 5 viewers right now, which is, to me, it feels like a lot, especially after, you know, I really started streaming more so, especially with the go lives last year, 2023 in like October. So it's been over a year now, and I'll tell you that first year was tough because I really had like nobody. Every time I streamed, it was like 0 or 1, and sometimes that 1 was me trying to prop up my numbers, you know, just watching on my phone. But that having been said, you know, I really appreciate again everybody that's come and joined the journey with me. People like you, Andrew. This is, you know, this is what I keep grinding for. You know, one of these days we're gonna make it out of the trenches, and I think, at least for myself, something like Citadail has a really good opportunity to benefit myself and many others as a AI hedge fund, you know, we're not, like, I have a full-time job, right? So like, I wish I'd be able to sit on here charting 24/7, you know, hang out with you guys for hours on end. And that's the dream. Eventually we'll get there, but for now, you know, I got to do it after my job, which is tough, I'm not gonna lie. And it was tough to do it for 0 people for that long. But it all pays off. You just got to keep grinding, guys. Just keep grinding. We'll all make it. Yeah, man, awesome. I really appreciate that, Andrew. If there's anything that you guys want to check out specifically, like I know someone asked in my comments to do one of these on a different token, NAI, which I didn't actually do. So let's do that real quick before I peace out for the evening, because I didn't do that NAI and I feel bad. Like I don't want to leave people hanging. But yeah, look at this, right? We see a lot of AI stuff took a big hit, right? So this is kind of the structure that we're looking at with NAI. It had this major pump up to, you know, the 25 mil market cap. I think we hold some of this as Citadail HF, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we do. We hold 3 million of it. So, you know, it looks like it made a run down to this area, into that box range like we talk about, right? The down move before the up move that broke the market structure. And so I think you like to see this sort of like what we're looking at on Citadail, break above this and then break through this. So kind of like that. So this is what I would look for once it breaks out of this sort of range, moving to the upside. You can see that has a lot of confluence with this right here. So that would be like a new high if it breaks that. And that's what you want to look for. You want to look for like a lot of things that kind of all relate to the same thing, and they all the things that you're looking for are pointing to up. And as long as you're looking for things and they all point to up, then that's good. It's just like right here, you're looking at like a lot of things that will point to this is the bottom. Like this, you know, made a new low, but it's still above this low. So, you know, this could potentially get really, really bullish from here for NAI. So yeah, that's a good one to keep on your radar for kind of the next few days. See what happens. I think all of AI is really, it's starting to tick back up. Look at this. Look at it go. That's a beautiful, beautiful 1 hour candle on Griffain. And this is like, this is our daddy for the ecosystem, right? Citadail is gonna follow daddy. And we're getting to that point, right? We're getting to this point where we're just gonna break out and peace out. Joe Martinez. That's really good to hear, man. I appreciate you guys coming in and learning, spending your time with me here on a beautiful night. I'm going to peace out, though, because I'm super tired. I had a long day at work. And you'll catch me in the chats. Check out the links again. Join my Telegram if you want. And we'll catch you in the next Andy's Crypto Talk.